Now this is a study that originated out of UCLA. In fact, when the study was first published, it was really looking at people in conflict situations and the degree or the way that people decide whether they can trust the person that they're in conflict with. However, what we find is it still does have some meaning to communications when we're teaching it. What it says is that if you were to break down the communications according to the words that you're using and in the tone and the emphasis and the body language, what you'd find is this, that only 7% of your message is the words. Now let's face it, the words are kind of important, aren't they? Yes, they are kind of important, because if we just spoke a different language that nobody understood, we could really be emphatic in our body language and our tone, and people might get a little bit of the message, but they wouldn't maybe get the nuances of it. So we do need to choose the right words. However, 38% is the tone and the emphasis. So that means it's not what you say as much as it is how you say it. So we're going to do a little exercise on that in just a minute. And 55% is body language. Now imagine that people are really taking their cues from their eyes more than their ears, which is why anytime you're visible to any of the people in your work group or your bosses, management, you're communicating. You're communicating either that you're hurried and out of control, you're communicating that you're ticked off, because people are reading the body language as they're going along in the program. So as they're thinking about your communication, they're sort of interpreting it this way. Now in this little exercise that we're going to do here for a moment, I've put a phrase up on the screen called, and it just is 8 simple words, I didn't say he was a lousy worker. I didn't say he was a lousy worker. Pretty straightforward. What I'd like to do is to have you read the sentence for me, but put the emphasis on different words as I indicate. So for instance, Ines, if you could read this, but put the emphasis on the word I.
I didn't say he was a lousy worker.
Right. I didn't say he was a lousy worker. What does that mean? How would you interpret that? I didn't say he was a lousy worker. Somebody else said he was a lousy worker. How about we put it on the word say? Jen?
I didn't say he was a lousy worker.
That's right. I didn't say he was a lousy worker.
But I think he's a lousy worker.
I would think he's a lousy worker. I wrote it on the bathroom stall. All right. I didn't say. I wrote it in an email, perhaps. Okay. How about we put it on he? Bob, can you put it on the word he?
I didn't say he was a lousy worker.
Yeah, I didn't say he was a lousy worker. You are. She is. All right. So I didn't say he was a lousy worker. Let's put it on the word was. Roger?
I didn't say he was a lousy worker.
I didn't say he was a lousy worker. He is a lousy worker, absolutely. And how about we put it on lousy? Patrick?
I didn't say he was a lousy worker.
That's right, I didn't say he was a lousy worker.
He's just not very good.
Just mediocre, you know? And my favorite, Keith, put it on the word worker.
I didn't say he was a lousy worker.
Yeah, I didn't say he was a lousy worker. Just a lousy human being in general. Not very flattering. It is interesting, though, that the 8 words with 6 different emphases or emphasis become 6 different messages that you're sending.